Allegory of the Exodus, Episode 2. From the previous episode, Isaac, who represents the Christians, took Rebecca to be his wife. Rebecca then represents a church in the Christian period. Rebecca, who was barren, asked God for a child, and the Lord gave her twins. These, as we know, fought within the mother's womb before delivering. Let's follow the same principle of a woman representing a church and the children her members. Even so, the two children in Rebecca's womb represents two classes of people opposed to each other in the same church just before she delivers. An interesting story we have here. Let's get the allegory to which the scene just described applies. Rebecca's pregnancy with twins implies that there are two classes of people in the church. Inspiration says, while the Lord brings into the church those who are truly converted, Satan at the same time brings persons who are not converted into its fellowship. While Christ is sowing the good seed, Satan is sowing the tares. There are two opposing influences continually exacted on the members of the church. One influence is working for the purification of the church and the other for the corrupting of the people of God. As the two classes exist just before the church delivers, then Rebecca is the symbol of the last church just before she delivers, and this is none other than the Seventh-day Adventist church. In regards to this church, the Bible says, "For as soon as Zion traveled, she brought forth her children." The verse just read clearly depicts a church pregnant about to deliver. This proves the fact of the allegory not being a mere guess at each step, but that God has unrolled the scroll that we see the hidden meaning of the stories as we move in line with the prophetic writings of the Bible. We have so far established the fact that the church is pregnant with two classes of people. It's also important to note that the children fight within her just before she delivers. Surely there are many instances where more than two classes have existed in harmony in the same place and time. But it's not so with God's church. The children have a great controversy in within her just before she delivers. As we know that Rebecca's experience with the twins depicts the current situation in the church, let's dig for the cause of the controversy between the two classes. Inspiration says, "I asked the meaning of the shaking I had seen, and was shown that it would be caused by the straight testimony called forth by the council of the true witness to the Laodiceans. This will have its effect upon the heart of the receiver, and will lead him to exalt the standard and pour forth the straight truth. Some will not bear this straight testimony. They will rise up against it, and this is what will cause a shaking among God's people. As there is no message without information, even so there cannot be a straight testimony without a message bearing the testimony. The message of the straight testimony is not only the cause of the controversy, but also of the distinctiveness in the two classes, as you will note in the statement of the previous quote. This will have its effect upon the heart of the receiver, and will lead him to exalt the standard and pour forth the straight truth. Some will not bear the straight testimony, they will rise up against it, and this is what will cause a shaking among God's people." Then the only possible conclusion is, each member will either receive the straight testimony, get revived and reformed, thus profiting from the testimony, or rise against the message of the straight testimony, in the same way the Jews did against Jesus Christ. Surely you know how the Jews reacted towards Jesus, who is the true witness, the author of the straight testimony. If you have not heard or known of the existence of a controversy in the church because of a message, then the allegory of the Exodus has come on time that you may be informed and act wisely. Now that we have arrived at this point, we better study the later life of the two children, Esau and Jacob, for only when these two sons of Rebekah come on the stage of action can we perceive more clearly the cause of the controversy and what the message of the straight testimony is about. Watch out for episode 3 as the story gets more interesting.